Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to today's episode of 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, what's up?
Nothing much. Same crap, just a different toilet, Mariah. You know how it goes.
Yep, I know
Yeah,
all about that.
yeah,
Um, so it's kind of, the dead time, but we dug some stuff up to talk about.
yep.
I don't have nothing crazy to start today off with, so um, I do want to bring up a couple things though, and before we get started, and that is, I would like you to remind everybody about the Vegas party for the Raiders game.
Yeah. Hey, Tanya. I see you just popped in. What's up, fam?
Hey
49ers
sis,
throwback.
throwback.
Yeah, so before we start, I just want to remind everybody that on January 1st, obviously it's no secret, Niners and Raiders play each other. Um, from what I'm hearing too, I guess too, like it's super hard to get tickets right now. So I don't know what's going on, but if you're still planning on coming to Vegas and you weren't able to get your tickets, we have rented out like a bar and grill, Gordon Bursch. The event's going to be from 12 to 5. The game it's a 1:15, 1:20 game or something like that. So, you get to be there for a whole hour before the game starts. We can mingle a little bit. Uh, it's all you can eat appetizers, and then you get to watch the game on two big screen TVs, and it's only $40. So I think that's a pretty good deal. You get to come meet some Niner fam, hang out, laugh, watch us win, eat some good food, and yeah, and get to meet people that you haven't met before for $40 instead of maybe paying $600 for nosebleeds, or maybe $1,000 for like the middle of the road seats, and then have to deal with a bunch of people and all this other stuff. So after I saw the after I saw the tickets, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I live here, so I know for me. I know for me, I have my own house. I don't have to pay for airplane tickets, so I can just imagine for the people coming into town what they have to go through. So, yeah, I would love to meet each and every one of you and me and Mariah both. Like I said, the event is from 12 to 5. It's $40 a person, and yeah, if you want to pay me in advance, and I get it. I haven't met any of you, so if you don't trust me, I get it. But if you do trust me, you can pay me in advance, or if you want to pay at the door as you come, it's $40 cash at the door. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully, the game's over by like 3:30, 4 o'clock. We'll try to have some giveaways, probably before and after the game. So yeah, I would love to meet you guys in person. So
Yep. Chris, appreciate you stopping by the Polo Show. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him if you aren't already. He says Vegas is going to be a movie, a live
yeah,
Twitter space.
yeah, for sure. I'm gonna check it out. What's up, Pinor? I haven't seen you in months.
Yay! I seen him recently, but
Oh, really?
I didn't tell anybody because I didn't know if it was supposed to be public
Yeah.
knowledge.
Hey, you're right. The Polo Show is gonna be a movie in real life. It's gonna be crazy. Yep. Me and you're gonna have to debate in person the the Tim Duncan slander that you're always giving. So I can't wait, man.
And with the twins, and oh
Uh,
boy, it's gonna be crazy there.
Shay won't have a mute button in Vegas. That's for sure.
Yeah. um, Tanya says, I'm still going, but not going to the game. And yeah,
Yeah.
like by the time we even get, that's how much tickets are to the game right now. Can you imagine once it gets closer to the game? People are going
Yeah.
to be selling those babies for whew, pretty freaking penny.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's people who bought them just so they can sell them.
Yep.
They're just like, oh, okay, I'll buy $600 seats for nosebleeds, and then come November, December, I'll sell them for 900 a piece.
Yeah.
Because people, yeah, so
I
it's
mean, and to
crazy.
be honest, that's what Vegas. I mean, they're all about that. They've been doing that with the Golden Knights since we got them. Freaking
Mm,
buying up tickets, buying up season tickets just to sell them for 10 times the amount of money.
yep.
So yeah, they definitely will be doing
Hey,
that.
Denise.
Denise, Tia, appreciate you, ladies. But yeah, Pinor, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I still am leaving an open spot on the calendar for you to come on the show whenever you do after you do your reveal, and once we can find out who the real Pinor is. Bryant, what's up? Appreciate you guys all coming by. Um, so yeah, we're going to break down the linebackers, but before we get into that, we'll touch on some other stuff that's going on. Let's start with Terry McLaurin for the Washington Commanders getting his extension, 3 years, 70 mil. So basically 23 million a year, 53 guaranteed. This is, very important as we're waiting to find out, what's going on with Debo. This is now another wide receiver in his draft class that's gotten paid. So, with him and A.J. Brown, the other one, who was 4 years, 100 million, 57 guaranteed. What are you thinking, with those numbers, what that means for, Debo's contract?
Well, for Debo, so as a playmaker, he is better than Terry McLaurin. I actually have him and AJ Brown pretty equal. Like AJ Brown to me is a monster. Like he's a beast. He's not the weapon Debo is because he doesn't bring that ability to be a running back. But I just feel like if he gets 57 guaranteed, I think Debo should get maybe a little more. Maybe 58, 59, but no more than 60. You got the Tyreek Hills, the Cooper Cups and all this stuff. They're like 70, 75 million guaranteed. I don't put Debo on their level yet. He can be, but he's not as good as a Stephon Diggs or Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, stuff like that. So I think with AJ Brown and Terry McLaurin, them being in that draft class and them getting between 53 and 57 million guaranteed, I think if you give Debo 58, 59, or even 60, I think that's more than fair. And I think on average, for AJ Brown, he's getting 25 million a year, and Terry McLaurin is getting, if I can look, he's getting 23 guaranteed. So 23 and 25. So you're looking around that price there. You're looking, I would say Debo, give him about 25 million, a year. But at the same time, if you want to sweeten the pot, maybe give him like another 2 million or 3 million in incentive, so he can make up to 28 million a year. If he makes the Pro Bowl, he catches a certain amount of passes, so many yards, touchdowns, stuff like that. So
I was kind of surprised, to see that Terry's deal was only 3 years. What are you thinking that like how long are you thinking that they do a contract with Debo?
I think they would do a four. Think
More?
about Terry. Think about Terry McLaurin. He's already 26. He was kind of he's a little older than some of the other receivers and stuff. I think AJ Brown's 24, and I think Debo's is 26 if I think correctly. So maybe you can give Debo like a 3 year $75 million deal, which guarantees him 25 million a year, and then maybe give him like I think the average at signing bonus was like 30 million at guaranteed signing bonus. So yeah, just give that man his money. I mean, I think they can meet somewhere in the middle. And I hate to be that guy, but if he sits there and they offer him like a 5 year, I'm sorry, like an AJ Brown type contract, like a 4 year, maybe 105 million, it's more than him, and they say 60 million guaranteed, then I think we need to look at trading him, because to me, I mean, I think that's more than fair. You've been in the league going on your fourth year. You've had one elite season, just one, but the trajectory of how good you can be is there. So I would say, pay him more than Terry and AJ Brown, but don't give him no 65, $70 million. I would say 60 is more than fair for Debo Samuel.
Yeah, and what was that thing I had sent you? Remember that Terry has averaged at least 1,000 yards over the last 3 seasons, or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah, he's averaged 1,000 yards with each season he's been in the NFL. He's had 1,000 yards, and he's had 8 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how this whole Debo situation plays out.
yeah. And don't get me wrong, fam. Don't get me wrong, fam. I love Debo. I want him on this team, but there comes a certain time where, when you start doing the negotiations, and he's just like, no, I want 70. I want to be paid as a top guy and stuff. Then it's time to say, you know what? I'm gonna have to say no. Like I think a 4 year, $105 million contract with 25 million a year guaranteed, or 26 million a year guaranteed, is plenty. And then plus two, if you give him the 60 million a year, that gives him the highest paid wide receiver money in his class. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So yeah,
I mean, yeah, something else that was in the news around, this situation this week. Again, it was, of course, everybody's recycling news at this point because, it's the dead time of the season. But it was brought up how Debo hasn't rescinded his trade offer. And this is something that I talk about all the time about keeping, I feel like we're keeping our husband or wife or whatever here that's telling us they don't love us every day, but we won't let them go, like the guy asked for a trade. He wants, if the reported numbers that he wants come, is way higher than what these guys are making. I mean, there has to be a point where we're not just giving him every single thing that he wants.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And you're right, and that's why I say what I say. And you're right. It's like one of those things where it's like, it's a marriage, and let's say a wife comes to a husband and say, "I want a divorce," and the husband's just trying to say, "Well, okay, well, let's go to counseling, let's sit down and talk, let's pray on it," whatever the case may be. And it's still like, okay, I'm glad that you recommended all this stuff. However, I'm still not rescinding my divorce. I still
Right.
want a divorce. So it's like if you come to, you try to pull along and you try to make them happy, and you say, okay, well, you're asking for this. Well, how about we compromise and I give you this, that, and the other. So you're right. It comes to a point. I was like, okay, look, in your draft class, I feel like you have been the best receiver. This is the average salaries. This is the guarantees. The highest guarantee so far for your draft class is 57. How about we give you 60 guaranteed, and we call it even. And
Yeah.
if it still comes to a point where he's just like, no, I want more, it might just be that time to be like, well, you know what, I tried, I did my best. We went to counseling, we had a pastor come and pray over our marriage, still ain't working. So I guess it's time to call it quits, and I'm about to sign these divorce papers. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Like I said, me and Miriah want him on our team,
Yeah.
but it comes a point in time where you got to put team above person. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
yeah.
We also heard from George Kittle. He was on with Bussin' with the Boys, with his tight end you doing, talking about that and everything. Um, and he talked about, of course, he was asked about the Devo situation, and he said that pretty much, he has to be selfish, and that it was hard. We heard about the whole fiasco with Kittle and how it was a Valentine's massacre and all this,
Hmm.
and so for Kittle to say, like that, pretty much, he considers himself such an unselfish person, and wants to always do what's best for the team and everything. But during contract talks, you have to be selfish and you have to put yourself first. That at the end of the day, like we always talk about, it's a business. So he was pretty much saying, like Debo has to be selfish, that um, his locker room's there at the 49ers facility, but if he has to go chase his bag, there's no hard feelings, that he has no hard feelings with him and he understands.
Hmm.
um, so that was pretty interesting to hear Kittle's take on it. And I mean, he didn't sound, of course, what does Kittle know, we don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't sound too convinced that Debo was staying, or one way or the other. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean, I
interesting.
get it. I get it. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like a tug of war. The team has its number, you have your number. But at the end of the day, if you really have passion for the team who actually took a chance on you, the team that is so close, it's not like we're a bottom five roster. We're a top five roster on the verge of possibly getting us a Super Bowl here pretty soon.
Right.
So if it comes down to it, like, is 8 million really worth it? You know what I mean? In my opinion, like, yeah, you can go to a Jacksonville Jaguars, but then you're 4-13 every year, or you're 6-11, and you're going home early. You know what I mean? Or it's like I said, but I don't know. I guess it just depends. Like, I don't blame the players initially, because at the end of the day, you're trying to get yours, and the team is trying to do what's best for the team.
Yeah, of course.
But like I said, it just comes to a point in time where it's like, okay, I'm asking for 70 million guaranteed. I'm not saying that's what I'm just putting, for example, I'm asking for 70. The team only wants to pay me 50. Well, can we meet in the middle? If they offer me 60, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, cool. I wanted 70. They wanted to give me 50. We initially came to an agreement for 60. Okay, both sides are happy. Now let's get to work and try to get us a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that. I would imagine if he was going to get, extended, it'll be happening sometime soon. So, I mean, this time seems like it's so long between that we have no football until training camp, but really time flies. We all know that. And
Yeah.
so I would imagine he'll be, if we sign him, when we sign him, it should be before training camp, I would hope.
Yeah.
I would guess,
I
so
think it's gonna happen when we have what training camps on in about 3 weeks or so.
yeah.
I think there's time. I think they'll get it done to get them in the camp. If you look at history, we signed our best players around the same time. George Kittle, Fred Warner, they got their contracts, sometime in July, either early August, something like that. So I think it's gonna get done.
Yep. You know, a thing that they might be waiting for in order to pay Debo is to free up some money that we have tied up in our ex-quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G has been in the news this week, as every week. It first came out that Jimmy G remains on schedule in his recovery from shoulder surgery and timetable for throwing. The expectation has been that Jimmy will be, start throwing in July, which we have talked about, hopefully by July 4th, so we can be free. And then Mike Giardi had, quote tweeted that and had said, to follow up per source, Garoppolo's shoulder is feeling good, feeling sound, hopes for a quick resolution once he shows he's able to make all the throws, which source says won't be a problem. So that's obviously coming out from Jimmy's camp, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, I read into these things so much, it's crazy. But for Jimmy, I was expecting that we would hear from Jimmy's camps, sometime around this point. But for them to say that he hopes for a quick resolution, like, does that mean, like, that sounds like maybe they already know something? I don't know. Because if you're going into this situation, if you're Jimmy and you're in this situation right now and you're thinking and you have no offers, you have no talks, nobody's interested, whatever, and you're looking at the situation and all these teams have their quarterbacks, well, how would you be getting a quick resolution?
Yeah.
Unless you know something.
That's very possible. I agree with Denise. I think he's getting released. I'm not going to sit here and say the man was lying and that his shoulder was as bad as it was, wherever the case wasn't as bad as it was, except for say. But I think him waiting this long, and now he has like probably a 6-7% chance of getting a starting gig. Teams have been through their OTAs. Teams have been through their mini camps. So I feel like if he got traded in March, he probably would be like, okay, he'd have the playbook at least. Even though he's not throwing, he'd have their playbook. He'd be able to go over plays. When he is healthy, he can at least throw the football. But now you're coming in there where rookies are even more acclimated to the playbook than you are. You know what I mean? Whether it's a Matt Carroll or whoever the case may be. So I think he gets released, and I think now he's going to have to settle for like a backup job, unless he goes to either the Browns because of the Deshaun Watson thing and maybe Carolina. Other than that, he's not starting anywhere. He's going to have to do the Mitchell Trubisky thing and sit behind somebody like a Josh Allen, like he did for a year, stay healthy and show like, okay, I'm ready to be a starting quarterback in this league again. I don't think he starts again until 2023, if ever, depending on what's going on with the quarterback situation. So, yeah, I mean, Mitchell Trubisky, I mean, he took peanuts to go sit from somebody. No, I didn't hear that from Matt Miyoko, but thank you. I mean, I am a grown man. I have my own mind. 49er throwback. No, just playing. But yeah, no, I didn't hear that from Matt Miyoko. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I just don't see him starting because, like I said, it's too late into the process. Like you're looking at going into July and saying here's a starting job. You know what I mean? Like I said, everybody's already been acclimated to that thing. But like I said, I think I think with Matt Corral and Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield with Sam Darnold, he might be able to start. And then I'm sorry, but Baker Mayfield's not playing for the Browns at all. He's going to hold
No,
them
no
hostage.
way in
Even
hell.
even if Deshaun Watson being gone for the season, he's going to hold them hostage and be like, "I'm not playing." So they're going to have no choice but to get rid of him. So I think the best bet for Jimmy is him to go into Cleveland. He has some good weapons there. It's a good team. They have a running game. They have a good defense. I think that's his bet. That'd be his best fit for him to get a starting job. Other than that, I know you are 49er throwback. I'm just giving you a hard time. But I think that his best bet, is to him going to go somewhere. He's going to do like Mitchell Trubisky, take a 1 year deal for like $2-3 million, be a backup, and then hopefully by 2023 there's some quarterback teams who need somebody, like a GM who's on the verge of getting fired or whatever the case may be, and who needs a veteran. Like I think he can step in and maybe get that done. But yeah, I just don't see it happening. So
Let me write this so I don't lose my
yeah.
train of thought while I talk to them. Sim, what's up, bro? I appreciate you coming by. No, drop your number for the giveaway, 1 through 100. Drop your numbers, and we'll do a random pick.
Brian said,
Um,
"Watch Jimmy end up on IR." Hey, who
and by
knows,
the
man?
Tia, this is what you won from last week. Since I had, it's just so hard to do the giveaways when we have a guest because they're talking, and I had to, be able to interrupt to talk to you guys to be able to do the giveaway. So it's so hard. So, it's a scrapbook, 49ers scrapbook set. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that'll be coming your way. But we appreciate you guys, all of you. Sin, what's up, sis? Hope you're doing well. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then once we get onto the linebackers towards the end of the show, we'll do a giveaway for this Fred Warner signed card. Since we'll be talking about the linebackers, I figured it was fitting.
Right on time.
Yep. um, so do you think that Jimmy can put his pride aside now after being a starter for all these years and go be a backup somewhere?
I think he ain't got no choice. I think he's gonna have to.
I
To
mean,
me,
he could not play. I
yeah,
mean,
he
if
could
we
not.
cut
Yeah,
him, he could sit
well,
out.
that's what I was gonna say. I think it just all depends on how much love you have for the game of football. Like me, I love football. So if somebody says, "Hey, you gotta humble yourself sometimes." Hey, I've been hurt. I have been mediocre, even though that's probably not what he thinks. But I'm saying, like, I'm my hardest. What's the word they want to use? Like when you criticize yourself,
I'm
like I'm toughest. I'm
my
my hardest
toughest
critic.
critic.
I'm my toughest critic. So when I know I'm trash or I know I'm not doing well, I look at myself in the mirror and say, "Hey, you need to get it together. You need to clean this up, clean that up, whatever the case may be." So if he really truly loves football, he'll take a back seat for a year. I mean, it's all about banking on yourself. If he thinks he's that good and he's just like, you know what, I think I'm good to go. Like I said, Mitchell Trubisky did it. He started, for like 34 years with Chicago Bears. It didn't work out for him. He took a backup job, and now he could possibly, I don't know if he's going to get beat out by a boy from Pittsburgh. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, the quarterback they drafted. But, if he's that good, he can have, isn't it Pickett?
Yeah, something.
Kenny Pickett, I think. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's Kenny Pickett. So if
Two gloves.
he's gonna compete with Kenny Pickett. So if he feels he's good enough, hey, go in there and you compete. So I don't know. I think he's gonna have to humble himself if that's what he wants to do. If he wants his football career to continue, just humble yourself, go sign somewhere as a backup, where a chance where maybe you can start. Like if he wants to go to Carolina and say, "Hey, I think I'm better than Sam Darnold. I think I'm better than Matt Corral," then go in there and compete because
Yeah.
after 4 or 5 games, if Sam Darnold ain't it, that they're gonna put you in. They're gonna be like, "Hey, this is your team. This you're gonna go in there now and see what you can do for 12, 13 games, whatever the case may be." So, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't speak for him. I don't know if he loves the game of football, but personally, that's what I would do. I would say, you know what, it's only 1 year. I'm gonna go be a backup from where I made my money. And now it's time to bring my name back to show them I can be a top 15 quarterback in this league. You know what I mean? So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. We'll see. It's a whole
Yeah.
waiting game on all these freaking different situations.
Yep.
Lake City Fresh, what's up, bro?
What's going
Appreciate
on?
you. Um, 49ers throwback. I don't know. I had seen some quotes about Schefter, that he said about, I don't think the 49ers realized how good Jimmy played until I watched the film. I don't know if that came from the video that you're talking about. I stopped following him since the whole Dwayne Haskins thing, so I don't listen or look at any of his shit.
Pay attention to him. Yeah.
No. But I
49ers
did see
throwback.
somebody else
Yeah.
posted that quote, so.
Yeah. 49ers throwback. If that's what you're talking about, that is so comical. Me and Miriah talked about that before the show even started. Like, I don't know what he's thinking, but after every single game, they go back and look at the film. They see the mistakes that were made, what improvements can be made. So for him to sit there and actually think like, oh, the 49ers went back and watched all 17 games and realized how good Jimmy is, and that's hilarious because they watch the game film after each and every game. So they're seeing how mediocre this man is game in and game out. So if that's what you're talking about, we talked about it. And yeah, it's foolishness in my opinion.
I mean, did they watch that he couldn't score a touchdown in the playoffs? Or like what exactly were they watching that all of a sudden they think that he's so good? Because I mean, I don't know. It doesn't take a blind person to turn on the fucking film and see that he's not good.
Yeah.
So that whole thing is very funny.
Yeah.
Jimmy was also in the news with Julian Edelman, his old teammate from the Patriots. He was on I Am Athlete. And it's funny because now that athletes are having, their own podcasts and stuff, we're getting to hear so much more than we got to hear before, and especially on I Am Athlete, there's certain ones that it seems like people just go on there and spill shit. So, when Bennett had came out talking to, when was that?
That was like, I think it was like 2 seasons ago, I believe. I don't know.
Sometime.
No. I think it was last year. No, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year when he brought up saying that like he didn't want to suit up at the last minute and all this stuff. Yeah.
So that's when he came out and called that he was a bitch because he waited to the last minute to decided he was too hurt to play. Mm-hmm. Yet their backup, had his thumb hanging by the ligaments and, went out and played. So they asked Julian Edelman about it. Well, they kind of slipped him a note and made him read the read the quotes from Bennett first. And it's funny because while Edelman's reading it and he keeps getting to all these, good points about this and that, and he'd go, and he would read some more, and then he came out and said that, that Jimmy had an injury in his non-throwing shoulder, and they asked him, well, was it too hurt for him to be able to play with? And he goes, well, I don't know. We're all athletes here. We're all football players here, and he said, that he was hurt. He had his shoulder barely hanging on. He was getting shots everywhere, yet he was going out there to play. And as in everybody, by that, whatever time, it doesn't matter. You're football players. Everybody is hurting something.
Absolutely.
Especially compared to us in normal day life, we'd all probably be crying if we were them. We'll have to walk around with their pain every day. But your quarterback's the one supposed to be leading that team. So for him at the very last minute to think that his pain was too bad to play, yet your guys on the same line with you going out there, the people going to fight, say going to war with you, whatever, they're going to do it and you're turning your back on them. So, I mean, he says that he was pissed.
Yeah, he did.
And it's funny because I've heard a couple other people talk about it and they wanted to say how, well, last season we saw Jimmy play through pain and play through injury. And Jimmy also had somebody waiting behind him about to take his job. So, and not only that, but he's interviewing for his next job on top of that. So if you're not going to go out there and play through pain, well, you're probably kissing the rest of your NFL career goodbye if you have one at all. And we saw in 2020, Jimmy shut himself down at the end of the season. When we seen him out there throwing, practicing, all accounts, he was fine. Yet come game day, he was up in the freaking press box, playing with himself, whatever the fuck he's doing up there. But, he wasn't down there on the field with his team. And we've seen it in every season that he's been here. So when is it like the exception becomes a rule, whatever that thing? It's
I know what you mean. Yeah.
We've seen him be a bitch more often than he's not. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um 49ers throwback, there's no need to apologize, man. I'm glad you brought that up because literally her and I were talking about it before the show started. So you don't have to say sorry, bro. It's all good.
oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah, you don't have to say sorry.
Hi
Yeah,
Ryan.
I I feel the same way, and I was gonna say the same thing. Like now, I'm hearing all these people saying that, like, oh, well, look at Jimmy last year. He was such a warrior. He played through this. He played through a torn ligament, his shoulder, this, and that. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's because one, he has a quarterback on his heels about to take his job. And then two, like you said, he's interviewing for another team. What team is going to sit there and be like, oh, I want Jim on my team, knowing that he turns his back on his players, not for one organization, but now two? And these players
Yeah,
talk. Like they all talk to each other, whether they're retired, whether they're active, whatever the case may be, they all talk. So the fact that that Martellus Bennett came out and said it last year and said that, and Sin, I know me and Mariah are aware the incident happened in 2016, but I think it wasn't brought up. I think it wasn't brought up until last year when Martellus Bennett had it on his show, and then now you're coming up with it, months later with Edelman saying, yeah, he agrees, and it pissed him off too. So
yeah,
the fact that you have his teammates, and he said that there was a few people who were pissed. It wasn't just them. Like a lot of the team were pissed off. Like, hey man, like what's going on here? So that's a reputation that you do not want, especially if you did it to two teams. So I think that's why he has this, like everybody's saying, oh well, he was tough this time. Yeah, because he knows that there was more to lose this time. Because I can guarantee you in 2020, if there was a quarterback on his heels, he probably would have played. Like you
yeah,
said, he shut himself down because you have CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins behind you. You know your job is
exactly.
safe. So now you know your job is safe. But now that you got, this young buck who has all the arm talent in the world, and he's on your heels, and they traded all that draft capital for. No, I have to go out there and play now
Yeah,
because now I'll really look stupid if I don't. So yeah, I don't get this. He's a warrior, Iron Man stuff. Don't get me wrong. I played football for a long time, from the age of 8 till I was 22 years old. So I understand the pain, but it was nowhere near the NFL level. I played in
mhm,
JUCO, I played on the Marine base, stuff like that. And yeah, we're all in good shape and stuff like that too. But this is the NFL. This is the best of the best. So I'm not going to sit here and try to compare it, but I do understand. Yeah, there is pain, but I've seen people in my level in junior college wrapping their ankles up and no, I'm going to go back in there and go play. So for you to be making all this money and you're like, oh well, and that's your non-throwing shoulder.
yeah,
It's not like it was your throwing shoulder; it was your non-throwing shoulder. You mean to tell me you couldn't go out there and throw for 4 quarters? That's just unbelievable to me. So, yeah, I don't. But like somebody said, always won. Once won, always won, and I
yeah.
totally agree. So,
And Sim says, like this might be the first time the fans are hearing about it, but he's pretty sure that the players in New England had said something to Jimmy himself about it.
oh, for sure.
And they talked about once you lose the locker room, and the locker room, has doesn't look at you the same, or think that you're going out to fight with them, and that you have their backs, that's it, that you can't gain their respect and their trust back. So does that come in line with why New England had to freaking get rid of him? you
Yeah,
know
that's a good point.
it's like if the
Um,
if the
yeah,
whole locker room was against him, but
yeah,
and Tom wasn't going anywhere at the time, so why keep the guy there?
yeah. The 49ers throwback. That's kind of a hard one. I can't say. Um, here's my thing, and maybe I'm just built a little bit different. I know me and Sam had some talks and stuff too. If you're not doing your job, be prepared to be replaced. Plain and simple. That's life. That's not just NFL. If you're not doing your job, you're going to get replaced. So if I'm not doing my job, and see, I'm smart enough to know, if I was Jimmy, that I'm not the reason they went to a Super Bowl. I contributed, but I can't sit back and beat my chest and be like, yeah, because of me, we went to the Super Bowl. No, I know it was a strong defense. I know it was Kyle's play calling. I know it was a good running game. So I can't sit back and take credit and say I took this team to a Super Bowl. But Jimmy, I don't think he'll ever do that. Like somebody mentioned earlier, he don't take accountability. So I think, so with me, if Kyle came, if I was a starting quarterback, I knew I had limitations. I knew I can't. I know he has a full playbook, and I can't run 30% of it because I don't have the arm talent. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to say, you know what? If he comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to replace you because you've been hurt, you can't run my full playbook, I can't be mad at that. I can't sit back and be like, "Oh, I can't believe you're replacing me for all I've done for this organization." No, what am I gonna do? Me, I'm gonna get better, or I'm gonna just have to admit, like, you know what, I can try to go to another team, but maybe I'm just a backup, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong. People have made careers like a Byron Leftwich. He made a career of being a backup. What's the dude? Chase Daniel. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
made careers and make good money being a backup and are probably retiring healthier than these starters because they're not getting hit. So
Exactly.
it's a win-win situation in
Better
my book.
quality of life after.
Better quality of life after, yeah. Like Rodney Pete, like I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember him. He played for the Lions and he was a backup for years. But he was like, I mean, he made money just staying in shape and being a good enough backup. So a good enough player though, he can stay as a backup in this league for 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's hard for me to answer that 49ers throwback, but like I said, I'm built different, I guess. Like to me, if somebody comes to me and tell me your job ain't the best, you're not good enough, I'm just gonna have to accept that. I remember in high school, I was a junior and I was playing weak side linebacker, and my coach came to me and said, "Hey, you're getting beat out, and where we used to practice over the summer, and it was kind of like our training camp." He goes, "We had this new transfer that came from LA. He was better than me. I admit it. He was better than me." Coach came to me, "Hey, you're getting beat out. We want to switch your position. Is it cool? Do you want to play fullback?" I love football enough where I didn't pout. Cool. I get to play fullback. I get to hit people and score touchdowns. That's nothing more better than that. So yeah, so that's what I did, and I took it as like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm not playing the position that I was good at. I got beat out, but now I'm playing fullback, and now I'm scoring touchdowns. I'm hitting people. I'm being a lead blocker. So I still got my time to shine. So, and I can't be mad at that. Yeah, you're right, Sam. Holly Robinson's Pete's husband. You're absolutely right. So yeah, it just depends on the person and their character. I'm not soft like that, so I don't take stuff personal. If you're better than me, then you're better than me. Plain and
Right.
simple. Yeah.
Real quick before you didn't answer that, right? This one.
Yeah, before the stop, he asked me if
Oh,
I
you
thought
did.
that
Okay.
if he asked me if I
Um,
thought that Jimmy's mad about the trade. So
um, before we get into this next one, everybody, if you haven't dropped your number in the chat yet for the giveaway, drop your number 1 through 100. I know we had a couple new people join since I had announced it, so I just want to throw that out there so you can get that going. 49ers throwback. Did you know Jimmy was a bitch since he came to the Niners? That's funny.
no, no,
Because those
because
first few games with us, he looked like, he's going out there, he's just brand new with the team and going out there to fight with the guys, winning, rallying the guys, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, since the injury, he turned into a bitch.
yeah, I mean I don't think there's not one 49er fan in here who thought after the 5 games in 2017 that was his character. I think everybody was sitting back excited, like, man, we have a change of culture again. We actually have a quarterback who can win us some games. I mean, he went 5-0 after being on the team for about 6 weeks. He started and he came in balling. So I think
Yeah,
everybody was excited. So that's why I get mad when I hear people saying, "Oh, you guys are Jimmy haters and this and that." No, we're not haters. It took people a certain amount of times to figure out when he was a good quarterback and when he wasn't. So it took me till 2020. It took me to 2020, that first game against Arizona, to realize he wasn't it. I had people telling me in 2019, "Oh, he's just good because of the defense and the run game." And I fought him about it. "Nah, he's a good quarterback. You're not giving him a chance." And no, he's getting carried by a running game and a defense because I'm not, I never played quarterback. So some people see things differently.
yeah,
So they saw his deficiencies and saw what he saw in 2019. I didn't see it then. I didn't see it till 2020. So I think everybody was high on Jimmy at one point after 2017 and happy and this and that. But like I said, people start seeing the mediocrity at different times in his career. Some
yeah,
people didn't see it till this year. Some people, like my brother, he's a diehard 49ers fan like me. He didn't see it until that Titans game. He was always going to bat for Jimmy. "No, you're not giving him a chance, bro. I think you're too hard on him. This and that." I'm like, okay, you'll see it on your own. Me and Miriah went to a bar, saw the Titans game, saw him overthrow Kyle Juszczyk, saw him throw interceptions. Then finally, my brother called me the next day. "You were right. Jimmy ain't it." but it took him longer to see it. But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean he was wrong. It just took him longer, if that makes sense to everybody. So,
Some people still haven't seen it. Shit.
nope, some people still haven't seen it. So, yeah, you're right.
Hey JV, appreciate you stopping in. Put your number in the chat for we're getting ready to do a giveaway. Sim says, I don't think Jimmy is soft. I think he's selfish. And they talked about how, they didn't know if it was his agent shutting him down because, thinking about the future. And that's what I thought in 2020, that, he was shutting himself down, obviously, because we weren't going to make the playoffs or anything. So, he's just thinking about his future. Forget going out there and fighting with your guys, It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon we don't have to talk about this fool anymore because I'm getting sick of his ass.
Yeah. And
Trade him for
Kenyon,
some Subway coupons and let's carry on.
for real. And Kenyon, that's awesome, man. And I feel like, you're probably a man's man. And when your coach came to you and say, hey, this position ain't for you no more, I'm going to move you to middle linebacker, you're like, cool. I mean, that's what I got to do. You know what I mean? So kudos to you, man.
All right. So you want to talk about what Acho's brother said about Trey Lance?
Yeah. So
Talk
it's
about
funny.
that real quick while I
Yeah,
did the
it's fun.
giveaway.
Yeah, it was funny because we all know how bad Emmanuel Acho is. He's terrible. He always has. Every chance he gets, he dogs on Trey Lance. But his brother was on today and had that. His name is Sam Acho, and he was actually his thinking was total opposite of his brother's. Like he kept bringing up how how Trey Lance, like he's it. He's been good in camp, and so some other guy on the show was trying to discredit the Houston game, and he was just like, well, he only played good against Houston. And Sam Marshall was like, well, you can't be mad at that. Like, he actually went out and played whoever was in front of him. But what cracks me up, who won, number 54. So I think I saw a 52 in there. Yeah, actual the Bachelor guest. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. So yeah. So when I seen him go on there, but it's funny to me that when people bring up Trey Lance in that Houston game, they always want to bring up how bad Houston was. Well, Houston was not that good, but nobody ever brings up the week before when he made Justin Herbert look average at best. You know what I mean? Like that never gets talked about unless it's from 49er fans. I never hear none of the outside media saying, yeah, but look at the week before when the Chargers came into town. I think they were playing in LA actually. They went to LA and beat the brakes off them, and Justin Herbert threw like 3 interceptions. So you don't want to sit there and say nothing about that game, but yet when it was Trey Lance, it was, he didn't play nobody. But it's comedy to me. I feel like here's when it comes down to it. People are gonna have their own opinions. Like when I used to first hear stuff about Trey Lance, used to piss me off because I was like, man, they're not giving this young man a chance. But ultimately, people are gonna have their opinions. People are gonna hate on him. I mean, the outside media's opinions are just like our own fan bases. The outside media, you got some people who ride for Trey Lance, then you got another people who just are like, nah, he's not it, he ain't it, and this and that. But it's the same thing with the 49ers fan base. You got 49ers fan base who love Trey Lance, who can't wait to see him, and then you got the fan base who are just like, oh, he sucks, we need to keep Jimmy for another year, whatever the case may be. So yeah, so that's what it comes down to. Now that I've heard Trey Lance speak at the podium, and he was so well above his years and his knowledge and stuff, and he was just like, only people that matter to me, his opinions that matter to me, are my teammates and the coaches in this locker room. So that shows me he's strong. That shows me he's not mentally weak. So I'll take that all day. So now that I've heard him talk about that, it makes me feel better that he's not rattled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
agree.
so that's how I see it. I'm just like, whatever. People are gonna say what they want to say. These people on Twitter, these outside media, I don't even care anymore. I'm just ready for Trey to go in there and shut everybody up.
Yeah, that's what I have to start to, because I was the same way. I sometimes still do get pissed off, but it depends on what's being said. But
depends on who it is too.
That's what I keep saying. Like, gosh, please go in there and shut these people up.
Yep.
Come on.
That's all. Yep.
Congrats, John V. He said, Miriah, start me another hobby, because now after I had given him, he won the Funko Pop, during the season, and now he's collected all these Funko Pops since.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now probably, let's see what you get.
And while you do that, I'm gonna take my dog out real quick.
Okay. Um, this I had put in like just a temporary card because it's for an autographed card and I didn't want it to get messed up in the box. So it says "Wake 'em up." This is for the signed Leon O'Neal card, which I have over here. Like they're protected in the box, but just in case something, I didn't want to put just the autographs in there laying around. Oh no, that's not it. Let's see. This one. So yeah, signed Leon O'Neal. Congrats, John V. I just was getting the mail together to go out. It's been such a crazy, like we're getting ready to move and we've been in this house a while. So we have like so much stuff that you can't even believe. So
It's great.
we're having a yard sale like we started last weekend, we're having it this weekend and next weekend and till however long it takes until we have to be out of here.
Get all the stuff out there. No, it's funny how much stuff that you accumulate when you live in the house for so long, and you realize how much
Yeah.
stuff that you don't even need and you don't use.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we're going tiny because in a couple years we're planning to move Vegas, and so this next couple years we're just gonna grind and save money, and we'll have the RV to go and travel once we're done, and I'll continue to podcast on the road. So that's the
Nice.
plan. So we have so much stuff to get rid of. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
yeah, we just been going through stuff and it's taken up so much time. So tomorrow morning we're actually leaving at like 4 or 5 in the morning to go pick up my mother-in-law from California to bring her and then driving right back so that we can get ready for a yard sale on Friday and Saturday and have her here to at least help us because
Yeah.
it's just been kicking our butts. So yeah, I was getting the mail. Long story, to just say I was getting the mail ready today so it can finally go out. Thank
I'm
you guys
cracking
for
up
being
at
patient.
Sam. He said, "This is my first time watching you on laptop. I can see every freckle." Yeah, because I got a lot. I got a lot of them, Sam.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
he ain't talking to the white one of us either that you would think, but that's supposed to have freckles here.
Yeah, it's me. I have a lot of them. If you guys ever see me in person, you guys will be like, "Dang, T, you got a lot of freckles, man." Yeah.
That's all right. My wife has a lot of freckles too.
Yep.
All right, so I think we're all caught up with everything.
Yeah.
Congrats again, JV. So let's go into the linebackers and start breaking down. Obviously, we know that Fred Warner is going to be there, and I think after that, we'll see if we have some trades, if we think some trades will get done or not. But I think we're safe to say Fred Warner cemented on the roster for this
for
season.
sure.
So, yeah, who you got making the team, and
All right.
who you got leaving, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And fam, in the comments, if you guys have anything to say, if you guys want to add anything about what linebackers you feel should stay and why and stuff like that, feel free to comment. And I like to see what your guys' opinions are as well. So right now we have 9 linebackers on the team. That's what I'm talking about, Sin. Are you a Scorpio too? Because if you're a Scorpio, then you might be my sister or something. Because
Freckle power.
freckle power. So anyway, we have 9 linebackers on the squad right now. In 2021, we kept 6 linebackers. I don't know how that's going to look like now. I don't know if we're going to keep 6 or 7, but I'm going to just keep it the same. I'm going to keep it at 6 just in case. And this was kind of hard because I'm looking at it. We have so Dre Greenlaw, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dre Greenlaw, Aziz, and Flanagan Falls, I think all came in the same year, except Flanagan Falls and Aziz were undrafted. So we're gonna be looking at 3 players possibly being up for contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is how. So as of now, I'm gonna read all the linebackers that we actually have on the roster right now. Obviously, we have Fred Warner, Aziz Al-Shaair, Demetrius Flanagan Foles, Dre Greenlaw, and Oren Burks.
These nuts.
So we have and Oren Burks. So we have those 3, and then the 3 and then obviously Oren Burks is a newcomer. We picked him up in free agency because he was one of the best special teamers out there on defense, and we know that was a struggle for us last year.
Yeah.
So our new guys, we have 4 new ones who are either let me see. No, yeah, four linebackers we brought in that were undrafted. We have Jeremiah Gimmel, who's the rookie linebacker from North Carolina. We got Marcelino McCrary Ball, who's kind of an undersized guy. He played strong safety at the University of Indiana, but you know how Kyle and D'Amico like them undersized, small, faster linebackers. You know, he plays strong safety. He's 6 foot 215, but he ran a 4.51. So maybe they're looking at him to maybe putting on some weight, to maybe play like that Marcel Harris type role. Then we got that Sagoon Alubi, who I think has a lot of promise. He's 6'2", 225, and he actually ran a 4.4 at his pro day. And I was telling Miriah that he actually was impressive, in his tape and stuff. He went undrafted because of him being undersized, and he has some intangibles he needs to work on and stuff like that. But he had a pick six for 70 yards, and he looked real fluid and everything, and the way he ran and stuff like that. So you got him. Then you got that Curtis Robinson, who's a local kid. He went to Stanford. From what I heard about him, he's good, but he doesn't play up to his measurables. He's 6'3", 235. He runs pretty fast and stuff like that. But he's just one of those guys who like he's more of an athlete, I would say, than he is a football player, because like I said, he plays more to his he doesn't play up to his intangibles and to his numbers. Out of those four guys, Jeremiah Gimmel, he impresses me the most. He's a 3-year starter. He's been starting since he was a true sophomore in North Carolina. He's, to me, he's funny. He's like he's my Hafunga at linebacker, because he does everything well. Takes great angles. He tackles well. Just don't have the speed.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a 4.67, which is slow, for NFL standards. But the man was an absolute monster. He reminds me, if everybody remembers, he reminds me kind of like a Chris Borland. Like Chris Borland didn't have all the best intangibles. He was kind of short, this isn't that, but he didn't miss any tackles, and he was everywhere on the football field. Like, he didn't have the greatest speed, but the way he took his angles and his smarts and his football IQ, he knew where plays were going. So yeah, he's probably my favorite. So out of the people who I have to make in this team, and it was hard because I'm gonna be honest here, it took me a while to make this list. Initially, I had us trading Dre Greenlaw, because I'm with Sim. I think Alubi and Gimmel, in my opinion, are the two rookies who I think will make this team. However, I think they're going to keep Greenlaw one more year. I just have a feeling they're not going to trade him. But again, don't be surprised if he does. If he does, so whether him or Aziz, and like I said, it could be one of those things where you look at somebody like a Flanagan Foles, who's been a backup his whole time. So Flanagan Foles, he might step up his game. He won't be as expensive as Dre Greenlaw or Aziz Al-Shaair. So they might say, well, I can just put you in for cheaper and trade one of these guys and get maybe a 4th-round pick for him. I say the reason why I say Dre Greenlaw is because I feel like the Niners are higher on Aziz, because I'm looking at Aziz. They put a 2nd-round tender on this dude. 2nd-round tender on a guy who was undrafted. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, man, like, I feel like they value him a little bit more than Dre Greenlaw. But like I said, who knows? Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to pay both Dre Greenlaw and Aziz. Like, one's going to have to go. So anyway, you're pretty close to what I have, symmetry. So the people I'm keeping on this team are Warner, Al-Shaair, Flanagan Foles, Oren Burks, Dre Greenlaw, and Jeremiah Gimmel. I'm going to say only one rookie makes this team on the 53-man roster. However, I say the practice squad, Alubi and McCurry Ball, go to the practice squad. But if you look at it too, it all comes down to also what they think about Leon O'Neal, because Leon O'Neal's kind of a undersized linebacker, but has the hitting ability of a linebacker. So could he also be that Marcel Harris that we're looking for? Somebody who doesn't really play great at safety, but maybe could play better at linebacker. So yeah, so those are the linebackers I have. I'll name them off again: Warner, Al-Shaair, Flanagan Foles, Oren Burks, Dre Greenlaw, and Jeremiah Gimmel. I think Gimmel makes it over Alubi and Ball just because of his intangibles. Because I feel like if there's an injury or something, he can come in right away and probably not skip a beat, even though he doesn't have the athletic ability of Alubi. There's less of a learning curve, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and then I have that Curtis Robinson guy. I feel like he gets cut off the team. So, so yeah. So the fact that we had six make it last year and there's nine on the team, that's a good percentage of if you making the roster. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't have to worry
Mhm.
about like the DB room where it's like so full that some good DBs are going to get cut. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we had last week. So
Or the
yes,
D
those are
line that
or
they
D
can't
line.
keep all
Yeah,
those
or
people.
like yeah, like a D lineman where you know where like man, I know I can go somewhere else and play, but this D line's so stacked, I'm gonna have to get out of here. And somebody mentioned it earlier about maybe Flanagan Falls could be a trade piece. I agree. Wouldn't be surprised if like a Sala calls or somebody says, "Hey, I need him on my team," because the Jets have a lot of cap space and he knows his system. So somebody like Flanagan Foles, who's been with Sala in the past, could easily be like, "Hey, let me go ahead and take him off your hands." But then again, it leaves you in a hole because then who are you paying? Are you going to pay Aziz, Andre Greenlaw, which I don't see it happening, but I think one of those would be traded before him just because of salary costs. So that's how I got the linebackers being broken down.
All right. Sounds good. Before I get into mine, just want to say we have some. I can tell that the other show got done, so I appreciate you guys for joining us now. Panama, Melissa, thank you, ladies, for stopping by. Um, yeah, I mean, I have a couple different. I am going to go with one of them getting traded, and I too am going to pick Greenlaw. Just because, like you said, I feel like that they're higher on Aziz. I feel like when Aziz stepped in for Fred last year, that we didn't see much of a drop off and maybe a slight improvement with the way Fred was playing. And I think it was Pinor had brought up too about that Fred needs to be consistent the entire season. Last year he had a slow start, and as for Greenlaw and Shair, they need to be healthy. And yeah, that's the biggest thing. We've seen injuries like crazy, and my worry is that if we trade Greenlaw, do we have somebody good enough to take that spot without a huge drop off? You know, with it being Fred, Aziz, and then who's going to be, do we see DFF actually turn into something, or is it going to be one of these rookies that then we have to rely on? That's what worries me, and
Yeah,
like why I see why you change, so that we're going to keep. And before I go into which rookies I'm going to keep, a couple lists came out and talking about that our linebacker core is the best off ball like linebacker core in the NFL. And then they did top off ball linebackers in the NFL, just single players,
hmm,
and Fred was number 1 on the list as well.
yep,
So if we do trade one of them, is that going to take a big hit into the starters? That's what I'm worried
yeah.
about. But
Well,
like you said,
yeah,
we can't keep everybody, and if we don't get something for one of them this season, then we're going to let one of them walk for nothing.
yeah.
So
And
that's what
before
I
you
would be.
go, before you go, the thing I say, like obviously if we keep them all, obviously our top three linebackers are going to be Fred Warner, Aziz, and Dre. However, I think that DFF is pretty underrated because every time I've seen him in the game, he plays pretty well, and I don't see too much of a drop off with him either. I feel like him being in the Simpsons 2018, I feel like he's pretty good. So that's the only reason why I'd be comfortable trading one of those guys. But I see your point as well. But I feel like DFF or maybe even Oren Burks, could probably step in.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Um, Melissa says, "Look at you two with the matching residency hats, so cute." And it wasn't even planned either, and I didn't even
no,
notice
wasn't.
till we actually went live. While we were sitting here talking, I didn't even notice that we had the same hat on.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Greenlaw getting traded. So for me, I'm keeping Fred, Oren Burks, Aziz, DFF. I'm gonna go with McCrary Ball just because I've heard the most of him coming out of the limited camp that they've had so far. And it seems like all good things that I've heard. So that's, with the limited info that we have, what they're going to do in the NFL, who knows? But that's why I chose to go with him. Um, and then I too am like Sim, going to go with Sagoon over Curtis Robinson. And I'm going to go with Gimmel going to the practice squad.
Okay.
So, yeah. Um, I mean, you pretty much broke it down, so there's not much more for me to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and two, it's funny. I was kind of on the fence because it was funny because if because initially I had Greenlaw being traded, and if Greenlaw was traded, I was gonna put a little bit on the 53 man because even though he don't even I don't think he might can contribute excuse me, as a starting linebacker, he'd probably be great on special teams just because of his speed and stuff like that. So yeah, this was kind of tough to be honest. Like I was kind of thinking about like, man, who we're gonna keep, but ultimately, I just think that we'll probably just end up keeping Greenlaw or Aziz, and I'm with Polo. I'm taking Aziz over Greenlaw. I just think he does more, and like I said, I just think they they value him more. Like I said, for them to put a second round tender on him, said, okay, if you want him, you need to come get him, and I'm going to make it hard for you to get him. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like they put a third or a fourth on him. They put a second. So, yeah. I'm with Sim and Tanya. I want to keep our top four linebackers just because of an injury. Because our linebackers, as great as they are, they do miss time. Aziz misses time. Greenlaw misses time. Sometimes Fred, he's the healthiest, but sometimes Fred, if he goes down, whatever the case may be, we have a Flanagan Foles that can step in and do what he needs to do. And Oren Burks, we talked about this earlier. Like he's a vet. He's been in the league for 5 years. He can step in and play as well. He started some games with Green Bay, so he has starting experience. So and again, he's probably going to the best linebacker coach and D'Amico Ryans in football. What he does to these linebackers impresses the heck out of me. Like the fact that, a fifth rounder in Dre Greenlaw, undrafted guys in the Z's and Flanagan Foles, and look at the level they're playing at. So that's
Yeah.
why, these linebackers we brought in, I have no worries about them being developed properly because I feel like even if they spend a year on the practice squad, that the year. 'Cause I think I want to say Demetrius Flanagan Flows and Aziz spent their first year on the practice squad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now look at them both. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can happen. Like I said, I don't want them to be traded, but I wouldn't be surprised if one was, just because of the situation. Because in the NFL, it's all a business, like we say. And if you see that there can be similar production with somebody who's younger and cheaper, that's who you're going to go with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like Panama said too, he said something about I can see, somebody being traded to like the Chicago Bears. And I said this before too. Chicago Bears is one of those teams where Richard Hightower went. So he knows these players. So if he has any kind of pull and he say, hey, I like that Flanagan Foles kid. He's probably he might get cut. I don't want him going to Seattle because they love to take our players. Let's give a six for him or whatever the case may be. So yeah.
Um, that's what I'm hoping. I would hope too that we can keep them. Aziz and Greenlaw. If I got to pick, but I picked us to trade somebody just so I had something different than you. But I do think if they can move him and get something back, that like we said, it will be Greenlaw. Melissa had asked that if it is Greenlaw, like where do you think that he could possibly get traded? I know that Panama said the Bears need someone.
Yeah, the Bears are looking like probably one of the top 10 worst teams in football right now, and they have a lot of cap space. You know, they're looking for talent. So if they can find talent, given up fourth, fifth round picks, I think that they would do it. So the Bears would be one. Plus, like I said, too, Richard Hightower is there, our
Right.
ex special teams coach. So he knows these guys. And I'm sure he'd be like, hey, I know what this guy can do. He'll put a bug in their ear. I can see, somebody like Chicago Bears. I can see somebody like, of course, the Jets are always going to be up there just because of Saleh. He worked with these guys for 4 years, so he knows these guys like the back of his hand.
Yep.
So he's one of those guys who will always be on the lookout for our players. I mean, he wouldn't sign Marcel Harris, you know what I mean, off his first chance he got. So, yeah, I think the Jets. And then, I mean, I think just any bad team looking for linebackers, I think ultimately they'll wait to get cut. But like I said, if you're a team who is like, you know what, if they get cut, they might get swooped up fast or whatever the case may be. I would rather spend a six round draft pick on somebody kind of like what last year when we had the Broncos trade for Jonas Griffith.
Yep.
I mean, this guy was undrafted out of, I think, South Carolina State. I think he went to the same school as Darius Leonard, if I can remember correctly, but like a D2 school. We picked him up. We had him for a year. Nobody touched him, and I think he left. I don't remember, but then he came back, and then we had him on our team. He did so good in preseason that Denver was like, "Hey, I'll give you a 6 for this guy," and we earned a 6th round pick from a guy who came into our camp undrafted. So, like I said, D'Amico Ryans is just that dude, man. He knows how to develop these linebackers. So I see this happening again. Somebody, I think, out of all these 4 undrafted rookies were brought in. I like the guy from San Diego State to the most, the Sagoon Alubi. I just think Gimmel is just more like game ready, I guess you can say. Like, he's been starting since his true sophomore year, and he played all 4 years of college. So true sophomore, he has like over 230 tackles, like 5 interceptions, 6 sacks. So like I said, his only issue is his speed. So, and that's something too where on the game tape you can't see it because he's everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
so, like if he has to cover somebody, he's in trouble. But sideline to sideline, like I said, he's like another Chris Borland. His IQ is so high that he knows where the ball's going. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have that we have such difficult times having to select these rosters and these hard position battles and all this, because if we had a shit team, we wouldn't be having all these problems,
exactly.
It would just be easy. Just put whoever is in there, whatever.
Yep, exactly.
No, we have so much talent on this team that it's getting hard to, to select who you're going to end up getting rid of and watch them go to somebody else's team and do well.
And and do their thing. You're right.
Yep. We've been here an hour and 6 minutes. So before we get going, let's do the giveaway for this signed Fred Warner card. Everybody go ahead and drop your number in the chat, 1 through 100. And we'll do a random number picker. Whoever's the closest will get this Fred Warner card. I know I reached out to a couple people. I still need some addresses, so please check your DMs. If you haven't heard from me or left me your address and you won something, please do so. I think, yeah, like Chris said, one of our practice squad linebackers will somehow turn into an every Sunday starter in a couple years.
I agree.
Yep.
That's what happens with us.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate it. I tried looking through our messages to go back to when you had first sent it to me, but that was too far back. As they're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I'm like, forget it.
Pinor, I'll let you guys win.
Pinor, he's already winning in life. He don't need to win anymore.
Yeah.
All he does is win, win, win. We appreciate you guys for coming to hang out with us.
Next week it'll be our final positional breakdown. Yeah, we'll do the defensive line next week.
And then offense.
Yeah.
And then before we know it, it'll be our 1-year anniversary and we'll be starting the season.
Yeah.
We're going to do something very big for our 1-year anniversary coming up around, I want to say sometime in August, but it might be the beginning of September. We'll see where I am in my moving situation at that time. But somewhere around preseason, around there. But yeah, we're going to have a bunch of people on. We're having the whole nitty-gritty crew come on, a few other people. Got some good things planned.
Yeah.
Doing a bunch of giveaways. So it'll be a good time.
Hey, Chris, I don't care what you say. Tim Duncan's going to remain in my top 5 all-time greats, brother. I'm sorry. Tim Duncan is the man.
Uh-oh.
I can't wait to see you at the Niner Raider game at the bar because we're gonna have a great debate about this.
That's right, Ryan. You know the vibes. People were just fast to drop their numbers this time.
I
I don't
know
even have to
that,
ask
that's because
twice.
they want that Fred Warner
Like
card.
no, normally I gotta ask 35 freaking times. Gotta be begging for these numbers.
I'm just here for special teams. That's hilarious.
So I was gonna say, what do you think the chances are that we get rid of? Now we're getting close to the 4th of July, so it might
Mhm.
not happen that we get rid of Jimmy by then.
Um,
5%. Do we still have some hope?
I unless he's traded, which I don't think, because to me, I think we talked about this, and I'm not sure if anybody in the chat knows. Let me know if I'm wrong. I don't think they can have Jimmy throw until he's in a controlled environment. So I think he won't throw until training camp, to be honest. So I think training camp's gonna come. He'll throw. He'll pass his physical or whatever, and then once he passes physical, I think if they can't get a trade partner within like 72 hours, I think he's gone. I say by beginning of August, he's going to be cut from this team. I don't think we're going to get a trade partner unless it's Cleveland because they heard, because it's official that Deshaun Watson's gone for the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once they say he's suspended or whatever, I think there could be a trade where, because like I said, I think even with Deshaun Watson, I think Jesse Naylor broke it down and he said something like even with Deshaun on the team and Baker Mayfield, they still had like almost 30 million in cap space.
Right.
Like they still had a lot. This is even after they signed their rookie, so they have the ability to eat the cost. But like I said, if somebody calls and say, hey, if you just pay 10 million of the 25, I'll take them off your hands. I think that they should do that. But I shoot Roman count. What the heck? But
if he
good for
gets if he gets traded by or cut or traded by 4th of July. All right, I'm gonna be waiting for that video, John. So whenever, I don't care if it's after 4th of July, you better still do it. You said it
Sim.
now.
Hey Sim, I thought you was my guy, man. You can't have Tim Duncan number 10th overall.
All right, last call for numbers, and I'm gonna be doing the giveaway.
Yeah. Hey Polo, look, he has LeBron fifth on his list too. What you got to say about that one? Yeah.
I'm good with just cutting him. I don't care. Just get him the hell out of here.
I'm doing in TL's front yard. I have a lot of trees. Brother. You might catch fire.
That means you're coming to Vegas.
Now, yeah, coming to Vegas. Just make sure since you're shooting them out of your butt, make sure I'm inside because I'm not trying to see that, brother.
You're gonna see the video anyway. It's gonna go viral. All right, let's do this giveaway.
Mhm.
Let's see. Hopefully, there's no duplicate numbers because I didn't check.
Yeah. Well, Kenyon, if he passes a physical, we don't have to pay him anything. Number 82. Yeah, we don't have to pay him anything. He passes physical. His contract is non-guaranteed as long as he's cut before week 1.
82. That was a great year.
It was all right. 79 was better.
No, nah, big bro, it wasn't. Where are my numbers? All right. What the hell?
I think Tanya would agree with me. Us 70s babies are just built different. Now, just
Mhm. You're barely even a 70 baby, so
hey,
calm down.
hey,
Like
barely is
having your
better.
little freaking big toe over in the 70s freaking
Hey,
bucket.
I'm in the 7. My birth certificate says 1979.
Is this the highest?
Let me see.
I think so.
I see.
Sim said 83 was the year of legends.
It was decent. Let me see.
I think that's it.
What number do you see as the highest?
74.
Yeah, that's the one I see as well.
Okay. Tia, all she does is win, win, win around here. You win this signed Fred Warner card.
Yeah, 74.
I'll add it to your pile to go out. She has a whole stack over here. She's collecting up.
See, she won because she picked something in the 70s. You feel me?
Shut up.
89. Dang, you young, Melissa.
Dang, 89.
Hey, you young.
That's when my little cousin was born.
All right, Brian, I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate all of you guys.
Oh
Thank you for
Lord,
hanging out.
Giannis over Tim Duncan. Oh Lord, I'm glad. I'm glad I ain't got time today.
He has time. He just
Yeah,
has no argument for it.
he has time. Giannis over Tim Duncan. Oh
95. We got
my
some youngins
God,
in here.
Pioneer, I was 16, man.
TL was already doing stuff we can't even talk about when you were born.
That's what me and my boys used to do all our dining ditches. You know what
Oh
that
boy.
is, right?
Yeah.
We used to smoke a bunch of weed, get hungry. We had no money. That we go to a Denny's, smash like $100 worth of food, and take off running.
Ghetto ass.
Dine and ditch. You don't act like ain't nobody on here ever did that. I'm sure Symmetry did it all the time, and JV.
Why you got to pick out Sim?
Cause that's my boy right there. I know it. I know he dined and ditched.
Just because he,
I
smokes weed, you think that he has to dine and ditch?
I know Tanya did too. That's why she laughing. See, look what Symmetry said.
I know. I see.
I think about it now. I'm like, man, we're some jerks, but man, we used to go and because it'd be like 2:00 in the morning, wouldn't nobody be at Denny's except for like people who were hung over from parties. And
now
like
everybody goes to Arizona Charlie's.
Yeah,
and does
it'd be like 2 servers in the whole restaurant, so we'd be out there just getting blowed. I'm hungry. Ain't nobody got no money. We ordered Denny's, ordering everything on the menu. Give me this, give me that, give me that. And as soon as they turn their back, smashed out. We gone.
Melissa said, "Take your ass, dine and dash, and take Juice with you out of the bay."
No. Juice is staying to the end of his contract. He said, "I smoked so much I used to get up faster." The fact that dine and ditch was a casual. Yeah, exactly. That dine and ditch was epic.
Sim
you ain't lived
last week, but I tripped.
Yeah, you ain't lived unless you did that. Yeah. That's funny.
I was smoking on overpaying. If you smoke in Vegas,
somebody said call the cops on TL. Somebody said call the cops on TL. I was a hot mess. I ain't gonna lie.
Pull the tapes. Some Denny's still has the videos back in their storage of you dining and dashing.
And we're all athletes too, so all of us were fast. Like me and all my boys played football and stuff. So it's like look at Tanya, right? Denny's was my spot. Sit there, eat a grip of food. Plus, when you're 16, you can eat everything, and so I'll be ordering like chicken fried steaks, hamburgers, eating all that stuff. Eat it all, and then smash.
Hungry said in my mind I'd be running, but my ass was laying in a stack of pancakes. I used to torture all the buffets. Oh my gosh!
I'm still young enough to die, but my dashing days are over. I feel you on that, Sam. I'm 42. I'm not running nowhere.
I agree.
I'm paying for all my food.
Denny's sucks ass. I agree.
Yeah, but come on now. When you're high, it don't matter.
I'm high like every day, and I'm not eating Denny's.
That's because you're immune to it.
I know. My wife will tell you the same thing.
That's funny. I love y'all in the comments, man. That's awesome.
There's a lot of potheads in this comments,
and I know you haven't lived, so I do dine and ditch. Now I know everybody in the chat at least has done a beer run. Go in there, grab the beer that you don't want to buy, basically, and you just run out with the beer in your hands. I know y'all have done that.
When we were in high school, my friend was going to do a beer run, but I didn't know that she was going to steal the shit because like we had fake IDs, so I'm thinking she's just going in there to buy it. Well, we get in there, she gets all the shit, and she's like, "All right, go." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Right? So I just fucking take off running behind her. She has all this shit, we're running, and we fucking get caught. I'm like,
really?
Are you fucking kidding me? The store called the cops, called her parents, they came, and luckily she had said like, oh, she didn't know anything about it, whatever, and they let me go. But I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I had never stole a thing in my fucking life, and this girl has me doing a fucking beer run that I don't even know about, and we fucking get caught. I'm like,
Yeah, we used to do them beer runs all the time from 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
Go in there, act like we're gonna take it to the counter. Hey, how you doing, sir? Hey, how you doing? And we smash.
Yeah. This was from a grocery store.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Over there on Jones and the 95.
Oh, really?
Where that McDonald's is.
Over by the 4 kegs and all that right
Yeah.
there, huh?
Yeah, that
Yeah, I know
used to be
exactly what you're talking about.
back in the day. You know, there was like a grocery store there, and Save-On and Albertsons or whatever the hell.
Mhm. Yeah. She's like, go. Come on, Miriah. You got to be on your P's and Q's, girl. You can't be stalling like that.
I know. It wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. She was the one running slow with all that shit.
Yeah. I had a friend who didn't do this at a store. Well, he had a store, but he stole some shoes and didn't tell me about it. Like he would. This is when we had Mervyn's back in the day. Remember Mervyn's?
Yeah. All my friends. I was gonna say that they used to all go steal from Mervyn's.
Yeah, he went to Mervyn's. He went in with the shoes he didn't want, and he put his old shoes in the box and put the new ones on. He's like, and we're walking there. I was like, hey, I go, you forgot the box, man. He's like, I ain't paying for these. He's like, go. And we ran out the store and we jumped on our bikes and got on. I'm like, this fool, like you should have gave me a warning first, bro. Yeah, that fool.
Yeah, all the girls, that was like the spot they would go. They'd come out with freaking wardrobes for freaking 2 years. Like, holy shit. They would just go in and put all the clothes. They would go to get all these stacks of clothes, go into the dressing room and put on all the stacks of clothes and then put their clothes on over top of it and just walk out of the store with like 10 shirts on, 10 freaking shorts on. Like, oh my God.
Tanya, we did that in Mission Street after school. I was bad.
That's why Mervyn's went out of business.
Yeah, I feel you, Tanya. I look back at what I used to do. I'm like, man, I'm glad I was never in jail or nothing like that because I was a hot mess.
Jimmy G probably sprained his ankles attempting beer runs.
He said the pay less on mission. That's hilarious. Go steal some shoes.
Not the pay less.
Walk out like a weirdo with your ankles clanking.
Thinking nobody can see a thing.
So that was like a Pine North, bro. The amount of EBT my brother made his girl spin on us was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I used to buy EBT cards. Be like, hey, look, let me give you $100 cash and you give me $250 in groceries. Yeah. Okay, cool. They go in there, I pick what I wanted, they pay for me, and I'm gone. I come out with $200 worth of groceries for only $100 cash.
Remember when it used to be like the actual state, like the papers,
like the dollars,
like the bills? Yeah, they came in like a book, and you had to like rip those suckers out.
Yeah,
people would always be trying to go into like the shopping center to go to the store, and they'd be like, "Here, you want to buy my food stamps?"
Absolutely.
They had a lot of shit ripped out.
And my mom used to get out on that because that was more when I was a kid. They used to stand out in front of the grocery stores and be like, "Hey, I have this $300 on food stamps. Will you buy them for $150?" My mom was like, "Absolutely." She'd get them. She'd make sure they were legit. She put them in her pocket, give them $150 cash, and we go shopping.
Yeah, they gotta go buy meth rocks. They can't be buying no food.
Exactly.
But now, shit, you can just give the EBT card right to your dealer. Like, here, okay.
Exactly. Like, here, yeah, go spend whatever you want. Just bring me whatever. Yep. Exactly. And it's funny too, because I remember when I used to work for a grocery store, people used to come in with their EBT cards buying steak, shrimp, lobster, all this stuff because they're on food stamps.
Yeah.
And then go put all them groceries inside a BMW outside.
Yep. Yeah, always at the beginning of the month, there's people buying steak and lobster, and then they eat ramen for the next freaking 28 days.
Yep, and got a BMW or a Mercedes in the parking lot. Like, oh, you can't afford to buy your own groceries, but you can afford that BMW in the parking lot. Huh? Memories.
So saying you can grow fungus in freaking Payless shoes. You can grow shrooms in Payless shoes. Fungus world, he calls it. Yeah, they're freaking crazy.
That's funny. When my dad, when he went to prison, my mom was the only income, and I refused to wear Payless shoes. My mom was like, "We're going school shopping. I'm not wearing those." I used to go knock on doors and mow people's lawns and rake their leaves, and I'd be like, "I'm going to school with a pair of Jordans. I ain't feeling these Payless shoes." Like, I used to make my own money. Then when I was old enough to work, it was different. But when I was like 13, 14, I'm like, I ain't wearing no Payless shoes.
I know. So
Yep.
embarrassing what your parents tried to send you to school in, huh?
Oh, because at my school it was a roast session if you came to school with anything less than like some Adidas or some British Knights or
Yeah,
something.
mine too.
They look at you like, oh, this boy came to school with some XJ 900s,
Hmm.
like it was clowning. So yeah, it'll be a roast session for a whole hour at lunch. So yeah,
Yeah, that's how it was at mine too.
yeah.
And this was so me. Like my friends, like my mom, like we weren't rich by any means,
Hmm.
but we definitely weren't poor. And she would tell me, like I grew up at my grandparents, but my mom would tell me, like, if you feel that you need to steal or you want something that bad that you're gonna go steal, come and tell me, and I'll find a way to get it for you if you need it.
Hmm.
And so this was me, like my friends, they would go steal all this shit and they'd be like, okay, what do you want? What do you want? And they'd come, I'd be taken off, like, all right, I'll meet you guys later. And they'd catch up with me like half an hour later with all this shit that they stole, like, all right, well, I didn't do anything wrong.
You see what Sim said? Go to Payless and catch you a discount pair of some air ringworm
Oh
eights.
my God.
You ain't lying though, bruh. Because
Air
people used to
ringworm
people
eights.
people used to try on shoes with no socks on and stuff. I'm like, what y'all doing?
Yeah, because when I was in high school, like there was a time period when everybody wore, like the girls all wore like these white, like Payless shoes, like just plain ass white shoes, and nobody wore socks with them.
Mhm.
So nobody had socks when they went to go try on those bitches. Bunch of nasties.
Look at Chris Polo said, y'all was stealing like D4 keep stealing from Jed.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey Panama, you ain't lying. Them XJ 900s. That was the shoe for Payless, boy. 'Cause I never forget. Like when we go to lunch in high school, we would sit there for a whole hour of our lunch. We'd get our food and it'd be a roast session talking about each other's clothes, shoes, haircuts, everything. That's all we did for a whole hour. It was hilarious.
Pioneer said them shacks were sneaky with the baggy clothes.
I mean, I love y'all, man. You guys are awesome.
Oh man.
Symmetry, I'm dead. Look at Tanya. See, look,
I
y'all
know,
got to know me.
symmetry
Y'all got to know
always.
me a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, your boy was a hot mess. He used to dine and ditch. He used to do beer runs and stuff. Yep, I was a hot mess.
And
And I
people
went,
call him a nerd. Look
and
at
then I
that.
went to the military, and I was like, okay, they when I went to military, they straightened me out a bit. So
Sim has me dying all the time.
I'm not.
Normally I'm just not on live, so I
Yeah,
can go back and forth with him, but
yeah.
I gotta behave sometimes around here.
Just
Someone
getting you
has to be
focused.
adult around this place.
Have to be sometimes.
Hey, Johnny James. Appreciate you stopping by. We're getting ready to get out of here. These
He said
people
those are
have us.
punishment shoes for me. That's something my mom would do. I'm taking your Jordans and I'm gonna buy you some of these McGregors.
Yeah.
Be mad. Be like, oh. But my mom. It's funny too because my mom had this saying, and I do it to my kids too. And I had to learn after a time. My mom would. If my mom asked me, "How was school today?" I knew it was cool. But when she said, "What happened at school today?"
Yeah.
she knew something. So there's no way around it. So I was like, oh crap, the teacher must have called. I got into a fight, teacher called or something. So I told my kids, I'm like, look, you have the chance to tell me the truth. When I ask you what happened at school today, I know something. So just tell. He said nothing but McGregor's. He know, yeah, yeah. He's like, I know something. I say, oh, how was your day? I curiously want to know how your day was. But when I ask you what happened at school today, oh, I want you to tell me because I want to tell me you're gonna tell me the truth or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
School, man, they used to be the biggest snitches. You miss a period and that little freaking automated thing. Your kid
Yeah.
has missed a period from school. Like, snitches.
Yeah. And my PE teacher, he got us good one day. Me and my boys ditched, and he was just like, I see that you guys were. I forgot how he worded it, but he was like, "I see you guys weren't in PE, but you guys were out in town. This is and that." But he didn't even tell the principal. He didn't tell our parents. We actually went in the morning and snitched on ourselves because we thought he had snitched on us. So we went in there. Was like, "Yeah, I'm coming in here." It's like I did school yesterday. Coach Linneman caught us, and he was just like, "Oh, that wasn't reported to me." He was just like, "Well, he got you guys. He got you guys snitching on yourselves." So we went in there, got censored. We had this thing called on campus suspension, where you had to sit in this one classroom every day, all day. You couldn't talk, and then they'd bring you all your work from all day. And you had to pick up trash around the school and stuff like
Dang.
that. So yeah, it was called on campus suspension. Yep.
Johnny James says Jordan wasn't dunking; he was doing a layup. I had seen recently these pictures going around Twitter somewhere, and like fake Jordans and shit, and it has like the picture of Jordan, and he has these big ass butt cheeks on
Oh
there.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yeah,
That shit was funny. Air Gordons.
yep. Like on Martin, Eric Gordon's. But yeah, I appreciate you all, fam.
Yep, I
Here's
appreciate you guys
cool, some
too.
Shaq shoes, not the Shaq shoes, but the fake joints with them ducking in the wrong direction. Yep.
I needed to laugh. It's been some crazy weeks around here.
Yeah, I
So
feel
it's
you.
good to just get your mind off of shit and be able to talk football and have some laughs with y'all.
Yep. Just imagine our conversation if we were all in person. It'd be hilarious.
Soon.
Yep. So hopefully you all can make it to Vegas and come to our event so we can kick it at the sports bar. Oh, no
Yep.
wonder why Tanya. That explains a lot. She went to Catholic school.
Yeah, no wonder. They're always the worst ones.
Man,
The
I got
biggest hoes in Vegas went to Catholic school.
I got another story about them girls in church, but I'll save that for another day.
Yeah. All right, yeah. We better get out of here before you get us kicked off YouTube already.
For real.
Won't
All
even
right,
make
fam.
it to the year anniversary.
For real.
All right, we appreciate you. We'll see
All
you
right, fam.
guys.
We'll
I
see
don't
you
know,
next week.
sometime next week. Everybody stay safe out there.